Welcome to Runnymede, where the charm of early 20th century homes meets the energy of a thriving community. With a rich history dating back all the way to the early 1900s, Runnymede has a mix of all kinds of early 20th century homes and modern homes. The neighborhood is also part of the Bloor West Village shopping district. So let's dive into the fascinating story of Runnymede, one of Toronto's most beloved neighborhoods. Runnymede is in Toronto's West End. The official borders are Runnymede to the east, and then Jane Street to the west. And then the northern border is the train tracks between Dundas and St. Clair. And then the southern border is Bloor Street West. Runnymede has a rich history that dates back all the way to the early 1900s. So it was initially part of the village of Swansea, but when Toronto expanded its city limits in 1909 to include the west end of Toronto, then it annexed and took up this whole area, and it became officially part of the city of Toronto. Runnymede is characterized by its variety of early 20th century homes. Most of the homes here are in the Tudor and Colonial Revival style, as those were what were popular at the time. Other than the City of Toronto annexing and taking town of West Toronto to become City of Toronto, the establishment of the Bloor West Village shopping district also contributed to the explosion in popularity for the area. And shortly we'll go on a walk on that district so you can see what it's like over here. Many of the homes here have a rich history. Now, Runnymede is a bit different than an older neighborhood like, say, Cabbagetown, for example, where all the homes in Cabbagetown and other older neighborhoods in Toronto were built in a 1 to 2 decade span. And so you end up seeing all the same house. So in Cabbagetown, for example, you see mainly just Victorian homes because that was the style back then in the late-ish 1800s when they were building all the homes there. But here in Runnymede, the homes were all built between 1890s to 1950s. And so that's why there's so many different styles, because in that 60 plus year period, they saw all different kinds of styles. Something to keep in mind with the historical homes here themselves is that it's not a designated heritage area like, say, Cabbagetown is or Yorkville is. So the homes here aren't protected from demolition or extensive renovations. There are some that are heritage listed, but heritage listed isn't the same as designated. The whole different thing that I'll get into when I talk about the development process in the city of Toronto and how it works. But for now, just know that listed means not much is different from being not listed. You just need to give more advanced notice for demolition and renovations, but that's it. Nothing else is really different. Now let's get started and take a walk through Runnymede so I can show you the architectural styles I was talking about, as well as the neighborhood as a whole. So we'll start on the corner of Bloor West and Runnymede Road, which is the bottom right corner of the neighborhood's borders. And now we're at the intersection of Bloor and Runnymede. This is where the Bloor West Village shopping district is, and Bloor Street here is the main commercial artery of the area. The strip is lined with over 400 shops, restaurants, and services, offering everything from artisanal bakeries to unique boutiques to law offices. Starting at Runnymede Road, you'll find local favorites like the Bread and Roses Bakery, known for its freshly baked goods. Peachtree Health Foods right across the street is a spot for natural health and wellness lovers. Buck's Hard Goods right here is a boutique store full of unique clothing, home goods, and jewelry. These three stores are all right by each other on the same block. On this block as well is the historic building here that is now home to a Shoppers Drug Mart. It was the Runnymede Theater, and it opened in 1927, and it was actually the first vaudeville theater in Toronto. Vaudeville was a theater performance that contained all kinds of acts to appeal to really everyone in the audience. One show could open with, say, a singer, followed by a comedian, followed by an acrobat, and then finished off with a musician. The theater didn't last more than 10 years, though, as movies had started to become popular at the same time. And so, as you can imagine, theater performances died off, movies took over, and in the late 1930s, this here was turned into a movie theater. It was then actually converted into a bingo hall in the 70s, but that didn't last long as well, and it was converted back into a movie theater in the 80s. In 1999, they screened their last film, and the theater became home to a Chapters, which then became the Shoppers that it is today in 2015. So the building has seen a lot and is now a designated heritage property, one of the few in the area. A few more steps across Bloor and you'll reach Queen's Pasta Café, a go-to spot for Italian cuisine. Then, as we head across Bloor some more and approach Windermere Ave, there's some more shops. There is a New Balance here, which is actually only one of 6 locations in Toronto. There's the Café on the corner there. There's some more restaurants and cafes across the street here on Bloor. You also actually have quite a few markets in the area, from little convenience stores that sell fruits to full-fledged meat and vegetable markets. Any day of the week, you can pick your grocer and where you want to get your produce and meat for the day, which is amazing. There are also quite a few bakeries. Here's a little cake place, get some cupcakes, cakes, and there's even a whole store just dedicated to cooking. So dishes, cookware, pots, pans, everything is over there, which is amazing. There's Gatto, another great spot for Italian dining, and they're actually best known for their wood oven pizzas. And then right next to them is Lemon and Lavender, a gift boutique that focuses on gifts. So whenever you need a one-stop shop for, say, a gift bag, and card, this would be the place. As you can see by their sign, they're voted #1 best gift shop in Toronto. Heading across further to the west and just a few blocks away from Jane Street, which is the western border of Runnymede, there is Book City here, one of 4 locations in Toronto as your cozy local bookshop. And then just a few doors down is Say Tea, a boutique filled with all kinds of teas, as well as teacups, teapots, tea towels, anything tea related. You don't see many tea boutiques, so it's definitely a cool spot to check out if you like your tea. Now we're at Jane Street, which is the western border of Runnymede. So let's head north on Jane Street. Jane Street here is a main arterial road, and there are a few blocks where there's a cluster of small businesses, but it's mainly lined with detached and semi-detached homes. And so I'm just a few blocks north of Jane and Bloor, and Jane Street here is mainly lined with, as you can see behind me, detached and semi-detached homes. Although it's one of the main arterial roads, there are only a few small clusters every few blocks or so, like maybe 5 or so, where there are small businesses and stuff. But other than that, it's mainly the type of homes that you see behind me, with a few multiplexes scattered here and there. And so Jane Street, since it's a main arterial road, is one of the main streets that housing advocates are calling for to have the missing middle built out. And so they'd like to have it see more multiplexes and 3 to 4 story style buildings. And I'll get into that topic later on in the video. But for now, let's keep heading towards the train tracks and the northern border, and then we'll take Dundas Street across, and then we'll get into the residential suburbs in that area there, and show you the types of homes that are in Runnymede. So I'm biking up Runnymede. I'm heading north towards the train tracks in Dundas and St. Clair, and you can kind of see what the street vibe is like here. So as I said, it's mainly just houses. There's a few random businesses here and there. And now I'm here at the train tracks. So let's turn right and head east on Dundas Street. And going across Dundas, there really isn't much that will catch your eye, but all of Runnymede's most beautiful streets really extend south from here, and they go all the way back down to Bloor, where we just were. So streets like Willard Ave, Windermere, and Dietterle. So let's head down Willard Ave, which is right here, and you can see some of the classic homes that Runnymede has and what they look like. This is a nice example of a Tudor home with its decorative half timbering and stucco. And here's another example where you can see that decorative half timbering really gives that dark accent, and then the light stucco really makes it all stand out. And at the end of Willard Ave here is St. John's Pantry, which is a local coffee shop where you can get not only coffee, but different pastries, sandwiches, milk, eggs. It's kind of like a little grocery store as well as a coffee shop. So it's a great little neighborhood shop that used to actually be a convenience store before the new owners bought a few years ago, and it's a welcome addition to the neighborhood. And actually, I said that this is where the street ends, but that's not correct because St. John's Road runs through here, but Willard Ave and the other streets continue further south. They just dogleg right here. And now we're just one street over at Priscilla Ave, and 103 Priscilla here is an example that I wanted to show you of a new house in the neighborhood. So it was built in 2020 and used to be a 1.5 story detached house. Here's a Google Street View of the previous home. So this is just a good example of a mix that you see in this neighborhood of new with old. Now let's take St. John's here to the east and then go to Windermere Ave. Oh, that's not how stop signs work. Thanks for not killing me though. Now let's turn up Windermere right here from St. John's, and I'll show you this house right here on Windermere Ave. 873 Windermere Ave here is another example of a new home in the neighborhood. There was a post-war bungalow here before it was replaced with a 2-story kind of arts and crafts style home in 2015. And so let's head back down to St. John's Road here. Take St. John's Side Road 2 streets over. So this is Dietterle Street. And then one more street over is Beresford, and let's head down Beresford right here. And this is another street in Runnymede that is lined with all kinds of homes. Here at 619 and 617 Beresford, you can see that mix again of new with old. This semi-detached home here used to be an old 2-story home before it was demolished, and this new home was built in 2017. Next to it, you can see the style that was common when the neighborhood was originally being built, and that is the Tudor cottage home style. Now let's keep taking Beresford further south, and we'll come up on Annette Street there, which is the next east-west street. This is actually the back of Annette Volta Lofts, which is one of the few condos in the area, and we'll get to that topic in that condo building in a bit. So let's turn right here onto Annette Street, which has a bike lane, and we'll head west towards Jane Street, and I'll show you some of the homes that are right here on Annette Street. Annette Street is a bit unique compared to the other streets in the area, like say St. John's, because it is a bit of more of a main street while still feeling residential and suburban. So you still have nice old classic Tudor homes and other classic homes, but you also have a good amount of storefronts, coffee shops, little markets, barber shops. So there's lots for everyone in the neighborhood in terms of local small businesses in this area. And this here is one of 5 churches in the neighborhood. And as you can see by the sign there, every Wednesday during the summer, they have a farmer's market from 3 to 7, which is always amazing to see a neighborhood have, because farmers markets are great, so convenient to have local fresh produce close to you. And we'll keep making our way down Annette Street here, and then we'll come up on 714 Annette Street. These homes are a great example of the classic Tudor style. You can see the half-timbered decorative paneling, the stucco, brick, all stands out, and you recognize this architecture and design anywhere. These 2 detached homes are actually 4plexes, so this home has 4 units and that home has 4 units. So you can see the mix of styles in the neighborhood. And so now let's head back to Runnymede Road on Annette Street here. Those are the lofts again. Now at Annette and Runnymede, let's turn right and head south down on Runnymede Road. Runnymede Road here is lined with all kinds of detached and semi-detached homes, continuing that trend of mainly Tudor and Colonial Revival homes. I'm going to go east of Runnymede Road here by a block, a short detour to Gilmore Ave, which is technically the High Park North neighborhood. But I thought I'd show this because it's nearby, and it's basically a perfect example of a Tudor home. So the half timbering is those wooden frames, and they're nearly always between stucco, giving it that classic Tudor look of dark wood with a light background. Now let's get back into the Runnymede neighborhood. I'm going to turn onto Runnymede Road here and head south a little further. Are you going to stop? You going to stop? My goodness. What is with the drivers here in Runnymede? They'll just want to run me over. They don't know what stop signs are. Anyways, a little further down Runnymede and we reach Colbeck. We're going to turn on that to get back into the Runnymede neighborhood. There's a church here. And now I'm back at Beresford Ave, and I'll take Beresford Ave down here. We've basically made a full circle back to Beresford. So walking and biking through Runnymede, it's easy to see why the local residents cherish this historical neighborhood. Runnymede is an amazing neighborhood to be in. Now I've nearly done a full loop of Runnymede, so let's go back to Runnymede Road because I'm on Beresford now, and we'll head north on Runnymede Road all the way to the northeast corner, the very border of it, and we'll go into Runnymede Park, where I'll go over the real estate market and some other things. So see you at Runnymede Park. And so we've made it to Runnymede Park. It's nice to sit down. I've been biking all day. I biked all the way from Corktown to here, which is like 14 kilometers, and I'm gonna bike back too, so big biking day. Because the Indy's happening, I figured the drive would be a nightmare, so not gonna bother with that with Lakeshore closed, so I biked. Now, let's go over the real estate market for Runnymede. In 2023, Runnymede saw 93 freehold homes sell. The year before that, in 2022, 93 freehold homes had sold. 2024, so far we're 7.5 months into the year, 55 freehold homes have sold, which puts this year on pace for the same as 2023 and 2022. So freehold homes, pretty steady. For condos, Runnymede saw only 7 condo units sell in 2023, and the year before that, 6 condo units had sold. For 2024 so far, only 1 condo unit has sold. And that's because, well, there's only, if I counted right, 4 condo buildings in Runnymede itself. You have Annette Lanes on Annette. You also have Volta Lofts, which is also on Annette Street by Beresford. And then there is 23 at Baby Point, which is 441 Jane Street. Those are the only 3 condos, and the 4th one is the one on Dundas Street, which is the newly completed rental-only building, so that doesn't even count towards condo sales, but it is a rental condo. So yeah, only 3 condo buildings in all of Runnymede, and they're all very small condo buildings, so not many units, so that's why there's not many condo sales. For detached homes, so back to freehold homes, detached homes are the most common freehold homes that you will see in Runnymede. Of the 12 freehold homes that are currently available for sale, 9 are detached. 2 are semi-detached, and then 1 is a multiplex. From the 99 freehold homes that had sold last year in 2023, 58 of them were detached, 34 were semi-detached, and the remaining 7 sales were row homes and plexes. So you can see detached is the dominant property type here, and then semi-detached is just behind. The average sale price of a detached home last year in Runnymede was $1,549,000. The value of detached homes has increased by 23.5% over the past 5 years, and for the past 3 years has been flat. It's down 0.4%, so flat. For semi-detached homes, the average sale price was $1,365,000 last year, and for the value of semi-detached homes, they have increased by 33.5% over the past 5 years and 4.5% over the past 3 years. So slightly up over the past 3 years, but the majority of its growth was from 4 and 5 years ago. For those 7 condo sales that happened last year, prices can vary depending on the size of the unit because there's not many available, but most of them are around the $860 to $900 a square foot range. So for a 1,000 square foot condo, you can expect to pay around $900,000, but sale price varies depending on what's done on the unit. So yeah, kind of hard to get comparables, I guess, but you can check it out depending on what you're looking for. But overall, the real estate market in Runnymede is holding steady. There's a good mix of detached and semi-detached homes that make up most of the sales, and then there's a limited number of condos, which does mean less inventory, but they are great buildings, so they do provide great options if you are looking for that condo lifestyle in more of a suburban area, I guess. And Runnymede has lots to offer for every type of buyer out there, from early 1900 homes, as you've seen with the Tudor and Colonial Revival style, to modern homes that have been built recently, or you can even buy a fixer-upper, pre-war bungalow, tear it down, and build something that's modern, if that's your style, and even as a neighborhood as a whole, because it has that classic Toronto character of having a little something for everyone, which is nice. Now, let's talk about green spaces, since, well, we're at a park, and it's green, and it's summer, so it's nice to talk about green spaces. Now, Runnymede itself as a neighborhood doesn't technically have any good top-of-the-line green spaces, I guess. There's Beresford Park, which is where I started the video. That's really the only park you have. Then there's smaller green spaces, but those are like, I'd say they're probably about 90 by 30 or 40 feet, those 2 little patches of grass. So Runnymede is lacking a bit in the park area, and then there's this park, but it is far if you live in the middle or even south side of Runnymede. So this isn't really technically a Runnymede Park, even though it is called Runnymede Park. It's much closer to the Junction area or people who live in the northeast corner of Runnymede. So for green space, you do have to travel a bit. So the other green spaces are directly south of me is High Park, which is all the green space you could ever need. You're close to High Park, you've got it good. It's about 2 kilometers from the middle of Runnymede, and I'm considering the middle of Runnymede to be Annette Street and I forget what it was when I did the math. I think Annette and Windermere, I'm counting as the middle of Runnymede. And so it's about 2 kilometers south, which is about a 25, 30-minute walk or so, depending on your walking speed, and 5-minute bike ride. So close by if you're on the bike, not too far of a walk if you enjoy walking, and if you enjoy running, it's close by. 2 kilometers there, do another 2 or 4 kilometer loop in High Park, and then come back, you've done 6 to 8K. So yeah, High Park, close by, great for that. If you're more into trails, for walking, biking, hiking, running, whatever it is you like to do, then you have to go to the west over to Baby Point, and that's where the Humber Trail system is. So Humber River is right there going all the way from Vaughan down to into Lake Ontario. The closest trailhead from, again, the middle of Runnymede is about 1.5 kilometers to the west. So that is a 20-minute or so walk, 5-minute bike ride again. Once you're on the trail there, Humber River, I mean, it's over 40 kilometers of trails. You can go all the way north to Vaughan, all the way south down to the water and then get onto Martin Goodman Trail or something like that. You can even go north and then go west towards Humber College and the 427 over there. I mean, you have it all there. Parts are paved, parts are gravel, parts are dirt, but it's an extensive trail system. It's nice when you can see parts of the river. So if you want to live in a neighborhood where you can walk for hours, bike for hours, run for hours, go out with your dog on trails, Runnymede is a great option because you are close to the Humber River trails, you're close to Hyde Park, close to Runnymede Park. Great neighborhood for all those aspects. Now, let me get into some of the future challenges that Runnymede may face. One of the most significant concerns among residents in Runnymede is the lack of heritage designation, like I mentioned earlier. Without heritage protection, many of the classic Tudor and Colonial Revival homes can just be demolished and replaced with modern homes pretty quickly, no questions asked. And that causes a bit of trouble within the community because some neighbors don't really like that. They like to have the curb appeal and aesthetic of classic, 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 classic home and not classic, classic, modern eyesore, classic, modern eyesore, classic, classic, classic. Another challenge the neighborhood faces is larger development. Runnymede has large arterial roads. When you're walking up Jane Street, as you saw, the road looks different, but aside from the road, the houses look the exact same as if I was walking down Windermere or Beresford or Dury Street or Annette Street, which are the side streets that kind of run through Runnymede, and they're the residential streets. But if you compare it to, say, I would say Jane is kind of like downtown Toronto's Bathurst Street. They're very similar in terms of layout, being main arterial roads. So if you look at Bathurst, downtown Toronto, going north towards Dundas, it looks similar at some points where there's still single-family homes because it used to be fully just single-family homes like Jane Street is, but now there's a lot more multiplexes, there's condos going there, and they're not big high-rise condos, they're missing middle housing, 3 to 4 stories, and it looks much different than Jane Street here. And so those are what we would call the missing middle housing, and they provide density to an area without overwhelming the area like a new high-rise condo would. And so for Runnymede itself, there have only been 3 new developments since 2014 that have provided some sort of missing middle housing, and those are the condos that I mentioned earlier. Actually, those are the only developments since 2014. So the 3 condos have all come up since 2014. That's 3385 Dundas, which is the rental-only condo. That's it's called like Junction Rentals or something. And then there's 23 at Baby Point, which is the condo townhouses on Jane Street, and that was complete in 2016. And then complete in 2014 was Volta Lofts, which is the 3 or 4 story lofts on Annette Street. That's a great example of missing middle housing. It's not an eyesore. It looks good, it blends in with the community, it blends in with the neighborhood. But Runnymede is one of the few neighborhoods I've seen recently when looking on the proposals map without a single active proposal, which is crazy to think of in downtown Toronto where there's constant building, to think there is not one active proposal in this neighborhood. You're not way, way far from downtown. You're only a 30-minute drive, 40-minute bike ride is what it took me to get here, and I'm on the east end, so probably also a 30 to 35-minute bike ride from downtown, 30-minute drive, and that's with normal-ish traffic. If there's no traffic, 20-minute drive. If there's heavy traffic, 45 minutes. And you're also only a 30-minute subway ride on line 2, which is right on Bloor, to Yonge and Bloor. So 20 minutes away from Yonge and Bloor on the subway. So let me just show you examples of other neighborhoods and proposals that are there. Like the junction next door, which has these active proposals going on, going east to Cabbagetown, which is a heritage designated neighborhood, by the way. So heritage fully protected, and they still have condo proposals happening. And so not having any here is so weird, where it's not heritage designated. There's a few heritage listed, but again, that doesn't mean anything. So very interesting that there's no active proposals here, and then a place like Cabbagetown, which is heritage designated, has proposals going on to have condos going up there. Granted, it is closer, much closer to the downtown core, but you're not that far from the downtown core here. And so this lack of development means that the neighborhood has little to no increase in density in its foreseeable future, which poses a challenge, believe it or not, for local residents. The reason it's a challenge and could be a problem for the residents in the foreseeable future is because the lack of development either means that historical zoning is stopping development proposals, or local residents, being NIMBYs, have been strong enough to push away developers, and developers have said, we'll just come back to this area later, we'll build somewhere else for now. That's what's been stopping the development, one of those. But with downtown Toronto and its surrounding areas running out of places to build, and running out of ways as well to alleviate issues arising from increases in density, the The city will come knocking here soon and change the zoning laws and allow high-rise condos to be built, because it's going to be too little too late, and they're going to realize we haven't been building any low-rise townhouses or condos or lofts, and so we've just got to go shoot up tall here and build something 20 stories to help increase the density near a subway line, which would be line 2 then. So if Runnymede falls behind, they have to be careful, because the city could eventually come in and say, this area is not dense enough, and we have our density goals because we have X amount of population goals, and so they're going to, boom, throw up a high-rise condo to solve the problem, and that will create a lot more problems for the residents of Runnymede than building a few pieces of missing middle housing. So Runnymede has the chance of facing significant challenges, and I think they could take a page out of Cabbagetown's book and take a look at them, because Cabbagetown is currently working with the developers who are putting proposals in for condos in their neighborhood to try and have these condos work and meld with the neighborhood so that they can stop crazy big condos from going, but still densify the area as needed. And so Runnymede truly really is a hidden gem in the city of Toronto. It offers a unique blend of historical charm and modern convenience, with the Bloor West shopping district, Annette Street having lots of different shops, and then corner stores here and there, such as St. John's Pantry, within the residential areas. From its rich history dating back all the way to the early 1900s to its vibrant shopping scene, Runnymede really does have something for everyone. The real estate market here remains robust, with a steady mix of detached and semi-detached homes, but a limited selection of condos if you're looking for that. However, as with many other neighborhoods in Toronto, Runnymede faces a set of challenges. The lack of heritage designation means the potential loss of historic homes, and the absence of significant new development in the neighborhood poses questions about future growth and density and developments for the area. Whether you're considering moving into the area or just visiting, Runnymede offers a warm welcome. I hope you enjoyed this neighborhood video. Make sure to share it with anyone who you think may be interested in Runnymede or just Toronto neighborhoods in general. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video of a West End Toronto neighborhood. Finally made it out this way, and maybe we'll do another West End neighborhood next, or we'll do something in the East End. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.